Indebted Kindness, Forbearance, and the Supremacy. These are all examples of special weapons which, while fantastic, are heavily used. And as some will say, variety is the spice of life. So in this video I'll cover some special ammo options which are criminally underrated. To classify an underrated weapon, I will use Destiny Tracker to check weapon usage in PvE. Anything under 0.1% is a potential candidate. Thankfully, there are diamonds in the rough for all special weapon categories. Fusion rifles up first, and there's really only one choice. I have no idea how it's actually so low down on the list, to be honest. The Deliverance. And the role you should craft is Demolitionist and Chill Clip. Being a special weapon, each defeat will grant 20% grenade energy, and you can get multiple defeats per shot of this, making it really good for grenade builds. Chill Clip freezes in just 2 hits as well, since this isn't a rapid fire frame, and it can work either on or outside of a stasis subclass. The best place to use this weapon I'd say would be a Rime Coat Stasis or Prismatic Warlock. The stasis turrets who you'll get will be plentiful, and you'll be getting freezes on repeat. Remember that Demolitionist also reloads the weapon on grenade usage, so you can maintain the top half of the magazine to keep Chill Clip active at all times. For shotguns, it would be quite easy for me to pick one of the many 1-2 punch options. But realistically, outside of a few niche little things, they're all basically the same thing. What is a bit more unique and quite fun is the Super Cluster Slug Shotgun. This is one of the few shotgun options with Cascade Point, which allows for fantastic burst DPS. Funnily enough, a good pairing with a Super Cluster is another Slug Shotgun, so that it can hit crits and enable Cascade Point. The Legato 11 is the only other slug with Cascade Point and in the energy slot, so you could use both of these to feed Cascade Point off each other. This thing is more of a boss DPS option, especially for using a utility heavy such as Tractor Cannon. But this shotgun can also burst down champions really easily. Also everyone, join my Discord right now, link in the description, go. Glaives, again, super easy choice for me, it has to be the greasy look. But why this one? It's a combination of a rapid fire frame archetype for more ammo reserves, an origin trait which can reload the magazine, which is something which just normally sucks on Glaives, and the best combination of glaive perks so far, close to melee and disruption break. Close to melee being the default glaive perk of 30% increased damage after a projectile final blow, which can be refreshed indefinitely with more melee kills. But disruption break is certainly weird. Like, am I sure this is actually good? And yeah, I do really think so. This increases kinetic damage by 50% after breaking a combatant's shield, but the glaive melee is kinetic and receives a full boost, making this weapon perfect for taking out those shielded major enemies. It's also really good in Gambit, you can take out the envoys pretty much instantly. Also, I do have a full video on the greasy look linked here if you are interested. Trust me, this thing is great. Grenade launchers was a little bit of a more difficult choice because here's the problem. At least for special ammo grenade launchers, they're also kind of samey. There's a wave frames which are efficient ad clear, or there's breach loaded for boss DPS. Maybe a blinding GL, but I don't even think they're used that much these days. So I'm gonna go off track a little here and suggest an exotic, the Dead Messenger. This is just the go-to weapon if you want to turn your brain off. Craft with Demolitionist 2 as the kills of this thing come easily, which means a lot of grenade energy. You can use this just how you do the Forbearance, but the area covered will be even greater. Also, it can cycle between elements, but I do suggest camping solo the majority of the time because this one increases reload speed. Dead Messenger is actually a pretty stacked weapon, it's just overlooked a lot of the time. Grab this from Vox Obscura when it is next available if you haven't already. Sniper rifles is my goat, the Irakanji. I think that's how it's pronounced at least. Before the Supremacy, this thing was the go-to, but it is still a viable option. The kind of usual role would be 4th times the charm and the Focus Fury, which will get you a crazy amount of reserves with a 20% damage boost on most of those. But weirdly enough, Shoot to Loot is a viable option on this weapon. You may think, why would I ever even use Shoot to Loot on a sniper of all things? But there is a reason. There's just no kinetic slot special ammo Shoot to Loot weapon better than this. So if you want to preserve special ammo for a boss DPS phase, while still having a bit of utility, this is actually the play. Should a Trace Rifle come out in the kinetic slot with Shoot to Loot, then this thing is doomed, but that does not currently exist, so the Irakanji does still have a use. And finally, Trace Rifles. As I've previously mentioned, Shoot to Loot is just great on these, as is any general utility, but basically because these things are not really good for DPS nor ad clear. So the winner for me has to be Chronophage. It has Shoot to Loot in column 3, and it has Demolitionist in column 4. If Shoot to Loot isn't really your thing, which fair enough, You can go full ability regen with either Strategist or Pugilist in column 3 instead. The Origin trait also isn't terrible either, creating damaging radial area pulls on defeats. These potentially giving you even more ability regeneration if they pick up additional kills. Trace rifles as a whole are not really in a fantastic spot at all currently, but this would still be my pick of the bunch. And it's worth having anyway, just in case they do get a buff in the future. I feel like this is pretty much a guarantee. And so that's the lot. But wait, I did forget rocket sidearms, but none of these are underrated or even close to that. In fact, just look at the usage rates of all of these. I guess Buried Bloodline is the closest we have, and I'd wager that's just because it's harder to obtain. And using an exotic slot when you could get a weapon just as good without it being exotic. And this all in all probably makes it just a little bit less desired. But yeah, these are just all great. Thank you for watching.